Hey everybody, it's Ron Bass with another edition of Soar High Personal Development, your source for inspiration. Joining me today is Brent Atterbury, Davin with an I, Hunley, I found that out today, my apologies, and my martial artist extraordinaire, Mike Rose. Okay guys, last week we talked about adversity and how to manage adversity, and today we're going to talk a little bit about time management and how that affects everybody every day and how it all ties together. So, with that said, Mike, what's your thoughts?
Leading off to me.
Of course.
Perfect. I like what we said last week was about planning the time. I think if we're branching off to like three things, if we were talking about three things, planning would be one of them. That could fall in another subcategory easily. But time management's key, especially like
when you say planning, you mean like planning out each day, planning out your month, planning out your year?
I need to get better at it too. I've gotten better at it over the course of time, like hanging around with you, and then like maybe a little bit of Davin, and then just because he's like, say he's on a tight schedule with like school, and that's important to him. So I would say majority of the whole time management thing should be how important it is to you. And I think that's for me, like it has to be important to actually be like, okay, I need to sit down, say like for a day, like I need, like when I wake up, eat something, go work out hopefully, or go do my career, something I love, and then, repeat it all in like a cycle. But you don't want to be lying dormant and stuff.
Well, that's for sure. Not
But
if you're going to expect to accomplish something.
But I just want to say, my bad, I didn't mean to speak over you. Go ahead again.
No, that's fine. I was just saying, sitting on the couch eating pom-poms isn't going to get you to where you want to get to.
Yummy.
Yummy, but
pom-poms.
Well, you've never
Isn't
heard
that what
before?
cheerleaders use? You mean bonbons?
Bonbons.
Oh.
Whoops.
Oops.
I mean, if you ate a pom-pom, I think you would die.
That's pretty good.
Oh my.
That's pretty good.
Okay, so
Importance has to be important.
Your goals have to be important
Yes.
to you. Okay, so back even full circle to one of our other podcast goals. It's interesting how all these topics, they just all kind of intertwine and go back and forth, and they're all these roads lead to the same place, which is how you can improve your life, how you can be more productive, how you can feel better about yourself, how you can feel like you're a productive human being. I mean, that's really the essence should be the essence of life, I think. So time management, planning, that's a key point. Planning your day out, planning
importance. There has to be one more.
The importance.
Well, executing on the
I
the
think
plan.
would be Well, I think executing would be like the third one to really like settle it in there. You know what I mean?
Sorry.
I can see that.
So to give some tools to people out there, you're saying on the lines of time management, they need to sit down and really plan out their time, plan it out, and decide what's important and what isn't important for that plan. And I get back to what you're saying earlier, but should you plan everything on a daily basis, a quarterly basis, a monthly basis, a yearly basis, all of those?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to get too complicated here.
I think personally daily.
Daily,
if
I like that.
Maybe sometimes weekly. It depends on how busy you are within a week. But I take every day. Like Mike and I talked about it, things change on a dime. There's things that will interject all the time. So have that daily plan, but also have a couple of hours to where you are working on something, but you can stop if you need to. Say something pops up or anything like that.
Pie.
I like pie.
You talking about apple pie?
Ready?
Cherry pie.
Planning.
Yummy again.
Planning.
Oh, I see. Mike, the engineer, he's looking at my notes. Planning, importance, and executing. PIE.
So
the pie.
Brilliant.
Planning everything out, the importance of time management, and then what was the last one? Executing that time.
So I would say pie.
Schedule.
You have to have pie.
You have to have
time
pie.
management.
Man, Mike,
God,
you're so
you make me hungry.
intelligent.
Man, did you just whip that out?
He did.
I did.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
He does this. He does this in jiu-jitsu, by the way, all the time. He has these code names for these different techniques.
Even in music too.
Even in music.
Mhm.
Pulled it right out of the oven.
I did. I did.
That's crazy.
But he like the way he laid it out, and I was like looking, and I was
Pie.
like, the easiest way to remember, I would be like for the audience, I would say pie. I don't know why. I just like thought of it. And I was like,
So just to go back for a second here, one of our goals at Soar High is to give people tools to use to improve their daily life. And I think titling it like this, giving a name for this, I think is great, Mike. PIE, P-I-E, planning, importance, and executing. So
Yes,
if you
sir.
guys have a pen and pencil, it'd be cool just to write that down and then reflect on this at another time, perhaps, and consider using that as a tool.
Boom.
Boom. Brent, you're awfully quiet over there.
I'm just being entertained.
He's just shaking and
Oh.
baking.
Having a good time.
He's just shaking
No.
and baking.
Yeah. A couple things come to mind when you say time management. One, first thing that comes to my mind was something that was taught to me a long time ago. I had one of my first real jobs, not the water slide job, but one of my first real jobs. The guy was like, "Okay, Brent, you were 2 minutes late," and I was like, "Well, yeah, okay." Traffic was terrible. He goes, "I don't care." He said, "Good rule of thumb." He said, "If you're on time, you're late. If you're 10 to 15 minutes early, you're on time."
Ah, good point.
Take that motto and apply it. And if being on time is important in whatever you're doing, you'll be on time every time if you follow that rule. But the other thing that came to my mind was my poor daughter needs
and if I was
time.
your daughter,
time-
I would be concerned as well.
she needs time management coaching. I think
Only kidding. Only
she
kidding.
basically gets up and it's a new day. And she is pretty much reactive how the day goes. Oops. Oh, it's 10. Oh, where'd the day go?
Where'd the day go?
4:00. I should have ate lunch. So she's terrible at time management. So
So she's
some
reacting
people-
instead of being proactive.
Exactly. That's kind of my point. So,
Another key word being proactive.
I think if she had better time management skills, she wouldn't be as stressed. Because what that does, that causes stress. When the kids aren't eating on time, the laundry's not done. Got to go to the grocery store, and it's 10 o'clock at night.
Oh,
So
that sounds like my life.
it is it's a hot mess, and it's very stressful. So I think cutting down, being a better time manager, she would have less stress.
Speaking of stress, there's a line of thinking where stress creates a certain amount of frustration, which creates a certain amount of depression, which creates a certain amount of anger. And if you see this cycle with people all the time, where they start off on with one mood, but they wind up with another mood, and then the finale is usually not very pretty.
Right.
So just something to think about. Speaking of time management, I think it's important that, back to what Mike was saying earlier, we need a list to go by on a daily basis, I think. And on that list should be what's important to you for that day. Okay, so at any rate, we've been talking about time management this morning, and a lot to talk about there, of course. By the way, we just had a situation where, along the lines of time management, where one of my employees came in and didn't realize we were recording and stuck his head in the door. And I could have just easily said to him later, "Hey, I'll get with you," but I decided to go ahead and hit it head on, and I got with him, and I was able to pay him what I owed him. He turned in some invoices for our home repair business. And the point I'm trying to make is that you can make excuses all day long why you don't have enough time or patience to deal with multiple experiences. But the reality is, if you learn to calm yourself down and slow down a little bit, take a deep breath, it's amazing what you can do in the course of a day. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear that because, yeah, Ron, you could probably do it because, no, I had to learn how to do this, just like all of us have to learn.
Experience.
Experience. You have to practice at everything in life. Nothing comes free. So I say that to say this. A lot of people that are out there right now that are listening are making excuses all day. I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to do that. But the reality is you always have plenty of time. There's 24 hours in a day. If you sleep 8 and you work 8, you've got 8 hours to do another thing, a business, a hobby, a sport experience, or you can work 12 hours a day like I do. Go ahead.
I know you want to say something, Devin, but real quick.
Sorry, I'm beating on the table again.
Oh, yeah.
The principal told me not to do that. Sorry.
The folks out there that say they don't have time, they don't understand why they don't have time. And I think a lot of it is having to teach yourself new habits. For example, if you hypothetically wake up at 8 and you lay on the couch till 10 and then you drink your coffee and you don't have time to work out. Well, you do have time. You can get up earlier.
Yes.
So you just have to create new habits.
Adjust
and create new habits, because you can make time to do what you want to do that you feel like is important.
Back to what Mike said, what's important to you, what's important.
Yeah.
And you may not recognize sometimes what is important, but exercise is very important. I talk about this every podcast. One of these days, we're just going to spend the whole podcast talking about working out.
Lifting weights. All you hear is clinking in the background.
Yeah. Well, we'll just do it at the gym. That'd be great. Or we'll do it at the dojo.
Anyway.
While we're doing our jiu-jitsu.
What I was going to say was interject on what Brent said about his daughter, and every day is a new day. And there's times where I have those days where I don't have good time management. Overall, I feel like I do. And it really does cause stress. That one day that you don't have any time management, that everything kind of just escapes your mind. Like sometimes you don't do laundry for 1 to 2 weeks, and sometimes even more than that, or you don't.
And you got a lot of clothes. Being able to go 2 weeks.
I've been wanting to say something to you lately about the clothes thing, but
What do you mean?
No, I'm just kidding.
Sorry, go ahead.
Come on, I don't stink that bad, do I?
Well, I didn't want to say anything.
Oh, okay.
Wowie.
I'm sorry.
She shoo.
But there are those days where you don't have that time management that you need, and just everything escapes your mind, and you need to go grocery shopping.
Okay, let's analyze that a little bit. Why do you think that's the case, Davin? With an I?
I'm not.
Davin.
He has 2 eyes.
Yeah, he has.
That's
pretty good, Brett.
I hate
That's
hanging
pretty
around your dad
good.
too long.
That's
I hate
pretty
you guys.
good.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Wow, that caught me off guard and hit me right in the
man.
chin. That was pretty good.
Oh my gosh. Well,
Welcome to Soar High Personal Humor.
yeah.
Your source for dry humor.
Soar High stand up.
Yes. I always wanted to be a stand-up. But I kept getting stood up.
How about
getting
those?
Don't give Ron any
And
ideas.
that's why I have a
another
poor
business
self-image.
idea.
And that's why we're doing this today to correct.
How about those airplanes? Oh man. Well, either way, I think the reason for not having good time management is kind of with pie. You don't really plan it out. You don't have the importance of what you need. And what was the last one? I can never
Execute.
remember.
Execution.
And
You'll
you
remember.
can't execute it.
You'll
If you don't-
remember it with the pie.
Pie.
You'll
if
remember it.
If you don't have the first 2, you cannot do the third one.
No, the third one was the grand finale. That's how this all works. That's why
Right,
this
exactly.
pie works.
That's what
because
I'm saying.
when he said execute, I was like, you have to have that, to have those first 2, like really
Exactly.
solidify,
You can plan
so
all you want.
You can talk the talk or
hey, walk the walk.
thank you so much.
That's real.
You can plan all you want, but if you don't actually execute it and go through with it, it doesn't fucking matter. I mean,
I think there's more to this than meets the eye.
there is.
Back to the
There
eye.
is. Oh God. God damn it.
Oh, this
That
is
was
funny.
good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I think the reason that a lot of people make excuses and don't have good time management goes beyond what you're saying. I think it has to do with attitude. I think attitude comes from who you hang out with, what you put in your head. Back to the 2 laws of psychology: you become what you think about, you become who you surround yourself with. I think it's simple, but at the same time, it's complicated. You have to really get into yourself and think about things. Really get deep within yourself. Go Go alone. Go somewhere by yourself someday, and just spend an hour with yourself, and just make some notes about who you are. Take ownership of who you are. And you may not like some of the things you think about, but you have to work on these things that you don't like about yourself and get your attitude up and get your mindset better. And then when you're motivated, guess what? Time management is going to be a lot simpler.
When you say motivated, I was gonna say after attitude be motives, because we were just talking about that right when you left. We were talking. I said we might as well keep on recording when you get,
Oh.
but because we were talking about we were talking pretty good. Like,
Oh, good.
but the thing
See what happens when I leave? Everybody gets creative.
everybody gets started.
I'm just
without
chopped
you.
liver.
No, I'm like, no, chopped liver in the corner. But motives, I like what you said about attitude, which some people need to adjust that, or like their ego.
And where does that bad attitude come from?
Or they
Mike?
feel entitled. They feel entitled to be, you know what I mean, to put themselves in that spot
An
without
entitlement
even
attitude, yeah.
without even going to the dude like the time.
Yes.
And then you're even putting it with time management. Time management's like it's a personal thing, which I do agree. But motives,
There's got to be a want to as well.
Yeah.
Where does that come from,
You
though,
want
Brett?
to. How bad do you want it? Do you want it? I mean, everybody says they want it.
Yeah.
Well, then
You
where
really
does
want
that ambition
they
come from?
need-
Where does that desire
need
come
it.
from,
They
Brent?
need it.
Where does it come from?
it? Well, I think it goes back to we've said it in almost every podcast. You need to hang around with people that have a good attitude.
Influence is the key word.
So I think that's part
Influence.
of it. But I think you've got to want it and have a reason behind that. I'm going hypothetically. Let's say my gut grows 4 inches. Well, I need to go work out so I can lose my gut. How bad do I want it? Do I want my gut to keep growing, or do I want to get rid of it? So I think you gotta. That's self motivation there. But
Well, I
but-
think it's deeper than that. I think you want to get rid of it. I think the reason you can't get rid of it is because you don't have the wherewithal, you don't have the ambition, you don't have the desire to go through the difficulty that it takes to lose that gut. I think that motivation has to come from influence. Because, I mean, it has to start there, at least start there.
Self-image.
With other people that are encouraging you, that are living that lifestyle that you want to live, but you haven't been able to figure out how to do yet. Now, it may be a book, it may be a person, it may be a father, it may be a son, it may be a friend. I don't know. I know in my case with Mike being my jiu-jitsu coach, it's very, very encouraging, because when you're around somebody that's doing what you want to do, it just keeps you on that. It keeps you very upbeat about it, where you want to be on that level.
What
Yes,
if
sir.
what if it's a big circle?
It
So
is
you-
a circle.
So you start with like stress, and then that motivates you to plan. So then you plan, and then you execute. And if you don't execute, the circle goes straight back to stress. But if you do execute, then it goes somewhere else.
I can tell you most people are not going to have the ambition to do things on their own. I'm not saying everybody.
Yes.
You need influence, and you need
Yes.
the proper
Mentors, influence.
Mentors.
But
Thank you.
when I was going back with Brent just said, I think from what he was saying to my idea was like self-image. You know what I mean? That's a big key and we talk about all the time. I think the first step, even waking up, you got to realize like who you are, what's your own bullshit.
Where does that
and-
bad self-image come from, Mike? That people have.
Oh man, and we
Starts
talk
as a
about
kid.
we talk about it a lot. So I always say back to nurturing, back to nurturing.
Maybe you weren't loved enough. Maybe you
Yeah.
weren't told you were loved.
I
Maybe
say
you
that a
got
lot.
stood up, back to what I was saying, by
Yeah.
women. Maybe you weren't the most popular kid in the class. Maybe you were
weren't
bullied
that-
around.
Yep.
Maybe you weren't very smart. Maybe you weren't very athletic. Maybe you wanted to be this or that, but you weren't. And that affects you a lot as a child. And so when you're an adult, guess what? That doesn't go away.
No, and you know what's even crazy too? Like even speaking about that, like people that never talked to me back in that time, and then like here once in a while I get people hitting me up, and I haven't talked to them in years. And I'm like, oh, it's funny how I'm relevant now, or funny how you're checking
Relevant.
it, or relevant.
Hey
but-
man, I really love your music. You're
Well,
doing a great job.
not even-
and then
not-
it's
not-
just like,
yeah.
go fuck off.
yeah, but not even music too, but even like my business, even other stuff. But it's true when it comes to like people's minds, like they like that's why I don't really like post unless it's like about my business. I don't really post personal stuff on my Facebook, not very often. I post more motivational stuff, and I
Yes.
try to, and sometimes I'll reach out and ask somebody like for their opinion or recommendations or help, or sometimes it's very rare, but in most cases I don't. You know what I mean? But everybody does need some sort of help sometimes, or get me to the right source of like
I
fixing
think
my
we
problem.
need it all the time. I think
Well-
you never reach a point where you're completely okay in life. I don't believe
No.
that.
No.
You have to have proper influence.
Mentors, time management,
Time management.
facing
Pie.
adversity, pie,
Planning.
planning,
Importance. Execution. Davin, I see your hands going wild over there. What does that mean?
You guys are funny.
Oh, are you
You guys are just.
Are you
fucking
wanting
funny.
to clap, but you don't want to make the noise? Is that what why your
No,
hands are going wild
no.
over
I
there?
just,
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know. I have things to say, but it's hard to articulate them in a specific way and the way that I want to portray
Well,
it.
just get it out. Just spit it out, man. That's an old saying. Just
spit
spit
it off the
out.
top of the dome.
Yeah.
I feel the same way with Mike in the sense of people are coming after me or wanting to say something to me about what I'm doing that I haven't talked to in multiple years.
And now that you're becoming more successful, they all want to come back and hang out with
the
you.
cup.
Yes. And,
You're like, who are you?
and this may seem like a stretch, like it may be all in my head, but it seems that way. And I remember when I was younger, I didn't really have very many friends, and I never went outside of my home. I just like tried to be creative within my own space, and I always wanted what every kid wanted in high school was I want my phone to blow up. I want people to talk to me.
You want to be loved. You want to be
Yeah.
liked.
And now, whenever that happens,
Admired.
I want to throw
Admired.
my phone in the trash because
So many people are hitting you up because you
Yeah.
are successful, and they know that, and they see that, and they want to hang out with you because you are a winner. But that's just that's the flow of life, guys. You have to have very thick skin to be successful in life. You're not going to get there if you don't feel good about yourself. And how do you improve your self-image? The best antidote for that, the best drug in the world for improving self-image, ready for this word? It's a big word, accomplishment, or at least the effort to be accomplished. And how do you get there? By setting your goals. All this stuff goes around and around in a circle. And as we do these podcasts, we're going to be repetitive, but you know what? That's another big thing. You need repetition. We talk about that all the time in
Reps.
martial arts.
Drilling.
Drillers make killers. You have to repetition, and it becomes reality at some point. It becomes something that's second nature.
Big yep.
Okay, I'm going to get off my soapbox now. I'm going to let you guys say something.
I think that was the last thing I want to say was motive. And then, when people out of the blue hit you up that you once knew, then you're like, oh, you never talked to me, or like shun me off, or like say like even like doing music.
And by the way, Mike's music is The Real Raw O's on the YouTube channel and Soar High Records. You can see and listen to his music and his videos.
Yes, I'm ready for the new stuff. I'm excited for the new stuff.
And for jiu-jitsu, go to Soar High Jiu-Jitsu.
Yes.
On Facebook, and you'll see about our martial arts
Plug it in
business.
right there.
Yes.
You plug it in.
You gotta
boy.
plug
got
it.
to.
You gotta
got
plug
to.
it.
Hey, plug it in. Turn it on. Make sure
Brent-
everybody's home.
Brent, do you have something to say right now?
No, what I'd like to hear maybe next time is, Mike, I'd like you to apply your martial arts and what the experiences you have on the subject we're covering that day.
Yeah, I think I would enjoy that, especially like the mental part of it. I say I'll keep this brief, and I keep it from next time too. But like at my level, like I understand what a black belt understands. The only thing that separates us is experience. So even at my level, like you'll get to that level like when you have enough experience, and then even have a prior past experience. But I even feel like age may play a key, and then like by the nurturing, like say like I have kids, I've been married, and I have to deal with a lot of people, and what type of business I'm in, and what type of business you're into, it's people. And that even could go along with time management too. But yes, I'd definitely enjoy that. I want, we'll have a little teaser right there. That's all
think
that's
all
all I
of
wanted to
us-
say.
Yeah, I think all of us, when you're talking about time management, you're talking about setting goals. It applies to all of us in our work lives and
Absolutely.
personal lives. But it's interesting how you apply it, in your
Yeah, in
gym,
my realm, or like
and
the
how
way
you-
I'm like
yeah,
thinking.
yeah, and you too, Davin, and me too. So it's everybody uses time management differently to get where they're trying to go.
The tool.
Yeah.
Another tool.
So, recapping the topic for today is time management, and Mike brilliantly created a new term, PIE, P-I-E, planning, importance, and execution. So when it comes to time management, just think about PIE. And just to kind of wrap things up a little bit here, Soar High Personal Development is really all about inspiring folks, giving you tools to improve your life in all facets of your life. And we like to tell stories. We like to talk about things from our own life's experiences. If you guys want to chime in, you're welcome to. Our website is soarhighpersonaldevelopment.com. You can leave comments or email us, and we'll be glad to talk about it on the podcast. So we're doing these once a week, and our YouTube channel, of course, is Soar High Personal Development on the YouTube channel. And I guess we'll wrap it up for today. And for Davin and Brent and Mike and myself, thank you so much. See you soon.